In the early 1920s, the newly formed Soviet Union was a land of paradox. A revolutionary future promised, yet daily life was a struggle against profound scarcity. This desperate demand created an irresistible economic vacuum, drawing in those willing to brave the new Soviet borders. This was the birth of the Contraband Corridor, an illicit network designed to bypass state control and deliver what the people desperately needed. The aftermath of the Russian Civil War left the Soviet economy in shambles, struggling with widespread famine and industrial collapse. Ivan Volkov, a former soldier turned opportunist, recognized the vast profits to be made by bridging this economic chasm. The logistics were rudimentary at first, relying on individual courage and intimate knowledge of the local topography. The markup on smuggled goods was extraordinary, with common textiles selling for 5 to 10 times their initial purchase price in Soviet cities. As demand grew, rudimentary networks began to form, connecting suppliers in border towns with distributors deeper inside Soviet territory. The goods themselves were a reflection of everyday unmet needs: durable fabrics, shoes, simple tools, and household items. Maria Petrova, a widow struggling to feed her children in Leningrad, became a crucial link in the distribution chain, selling smuggled fabric from her small apartment. As the NEP matured, so did the smuggling operations, moving beyond individual couriers to more organized, multi-stage logistics. Financing evolved from individual cash-on-delivery models to more complex credit systems and pooled investments. The methods of concealment became increasingly ingenious to evade the vigilant Soviet customs officials and border guards. By mid-1920s, the total estimated value of goods smuggled annually across the Soviet borders was conservatively estimated to be in the tens of millions of gold rubles. Captain Vasily Zaitsev, a Soviet border guard, found himself at the nexus of duty and corruption, a common predicament along the volatile frontier. The Soviet customs officials, despite their best efforts, were often overwhelmed by the sheer volume and ingenuity of the smuggling operations. The operational structure expanded to include runners who would scout border patrols and fixers who arranged safe houses and onward transportation. The Contraband Corridor became a complex organism, adapting and evolving with every shift in state policy or enforcement strategy. At its peak, the organized smuggling networks began to resemble legitimate logistics companies in their efficiency and scale. Lev Kaganovich, a former NEP man with connections in Riga and Moscow, emerged as a key financier, orchestrating large-scale procurement and distribution. The profits generated by these large-scale operations could be staggering, allowing financiers like Kaganovich to amass fortunes exceeding thousands of gold rubles. The Soviet state responded with increasingly severe penalties for smuggling, but the economic incentives proved too powerful to deter. The goods themselves began to reflect the shifting desires of a populace slowly emerging from the deepest privations. The smugglers developed elaborate signaling systems and coded messages to communicate across borders and within their networks. Anna Sorokina, a highly intelligent woman operating out of Latvia, managed the complex logistics for several major smuggling rings. Despite the risks, the sheer demand continued to fuel the Contraband Corridor, making it an indispensable, albeit illegal, artery of commerce. The border towns themselves became miniature economic ecosystems, thriving on the illicit trade. At its zenith, the collective revenue generated by these diverse smuggling operations across the Soviet borders likely exceeded 50 million gold rubles annually. The end of the new economic policy in 1928 marked a turning point for the Contraband Corridor. Sergei Morozov, a relentless OGPU investigator, was instrumental in dismantling many of the major smuggling rings during this period of heightened repression. The border regions became even more militarized, with increased patrols, watchtowers, and tighter surveillance. Many of the entrepreneurial elite men and smugglers who had thrived were branded as enemies of the people and systematically purged. While the mass-scale consumer goods smuggling eventually diminished, it never entirely disappeared. The Contraband Corridor of the NEP era stands as a stark testament to the unwavering power of human demand against state control. The black markets it fostered would endure in various forms throughout Soviet history, constantly challenging the centralized economic planning